Hi, I'm Matt,
I'm Craig,
and welcome to Dice Smash TV. Hello, and we are back with another exciting game of Age of Sigmar. This time we've got a battle for the ages. Gotrek Gurnason and his respective Fyreslayers delivery system versus the underhand machinations of Thanquol the Dirty Rat and his Skaven horde. So, today I'm bringing 2,000 points of Fyreslayers from the Greyfeared subfaction. My grand strategy this week is defend what's ours. So in my Gotrek delivery system this week, I've taken 3 core battalions. I've taken the Command Entourage, which consists of an Auric Rune Master, an Auric Rune Smiter, and a Battlesmith. I've taken the Galician Command, which contains the Auric Flamekeeper and the Hearthguard Berserkers. I've then taken the Galician Veterans with Volkite Berserkers, and that's a couple units in there, both with Firesteel hand axes. And then coming up in with those, I've got Gotrek Gurnason himself and his 2 mates, the Grimwrath Berserker and the Doomseeker. Now, because I'm Greyfeared, I get extra items, and I also get that for the Command Entourage as well. So the Auric Runefather on Magmadroth that's leading the army, with the Fury of the Fyreslayers, has got the Axe of Grimnir and the Mount Trait Coalheart Ancient. The Battlesmith has got the Nulcidian Icon. The Flamekeeper has the Griff Feather Charm. The Grimwrath Berserker is bringing the Draft of Magmalt Ale, and then the Doomseeker has got the aspect of the champion Tunnel Master.
and I'll be bringing 2,000 points of Skaven with the grand strategy Take What's Theirs. So I'll be bringing a Warlock Engineer as my general with the spell More Warp Power, and the artifact the Brass Orb, the command trait Deranged Inventor. Aspect of the champion is Tunnel Master, and he is bonded to the Cronspine Incarnate of Gur. We also have Thanquol with the Death Frenzy spell, the Endless spell Laushon the Soulseeker, and then for battle line we have 20 Clan Rats, 10 Storm Vermin, and then we have a reinforced unit of 6 Storm Fiends. Try not to laugh as Matt looks disgusted there. We'll try and get a picture of that one. So the Storm Fiends are loaded out with 2 with Wind Launchers, 2 with Rattling Cannons, 1 Doomflayer Gauntlet, and 1 with Shot Gauntlets. And then we have 1 Rattling Gun making up the points. At 1,990 points, our triumph is indomitable. The battlefield today is a Skaven Warpstone mine, where Gotrek and his lodge march to meet Thanquol and his warband to decide once and for all who's the mightiest stunty. So today we'll be playing from General's Handbook 22-23 Season 2, Battle Plan 3, The Jaws of Galette. In Gur, the land itself is possessed of a hungry animus. This is particularly evident in Galette, where sinkholes open up with perilous frequency, swallowing in moments assets that had been acquired at a steep cost in blood. And the victory points are scored as follows. So score 1 victory point if you control at least 1 objective. Score 1 victory point if you control 2 or more objectives. Score 1 victory point if you control more objectives than your opponent. Score 2 victory points if you completed the battle tactic you picked that turn. Objectives in this battle plan can be swallowed by the caverns. At the start of each battle round after the first, after priority has been determined, the player taking the second turn in that battle round can pick 1 objective on the battlefield to be swallowed by the caverns below. If they do so, the objective is removed from play.
For the Fyreslayer deployment, we had 10 drops, so I knew I was definitely going to be dropping far beyond what Craig would be with his 1-drop list. I started by putting the Runefather on Magmadroth and the Rune Smiter into reserve so they could tunnel out later on. And the rest of the army really focused around sort of sitting in the back corner of my deployment zone, ready to take the Skaven onslaught, because I do not think I'll be getting the first turn today. I do have Gotrek and his friendly Slayer friend Tim ready to run up the field and just hit whatever's about. The Grimwrath Oath I've gone for today is I will let nothing stand in my way. So that Slayer's going to be running and charging and then re-rolling run rolls and charge rolls. So he's going to be motoring across the battlefield, hopefully, and hitting something really hard in the face. The Doomseeker has chosen the Clan Rat unit as the target of his Oathbound special rule, so he's going to be heading towards them as quickly as he can to get them off the board. I'm not a fan of Clan Rats, I don't know why, and it would appear that the Doomseeker is not either. So he does have the Tunnel Master ability, so he will be coming for those rats nice and quickly. I don't really know what I'm sort of thinking plan-wise at the moment. Thanquol and his trusty boatman terrify me. I saw firsthand what they could do last week when we were at Warhammer World, and the Incarnate is the Incarnate. And then there's the Storm Fiends as well. Craig is definitely not looking to make friends of this list.
And for the Skaven deployment, putting everything into the battle regiment for the 1-drop meant we sort of vastly outdropped, beat Matt to the drop. So again, yeah, we put the Clan Rats over on the left-hand objective, trying to screen that off and push forward to see what happens. And we've left the Storm Vermin by the Gnaw hole there, sort of ready to pop out and see how the battle goes and pop out where needed. We've got the Incarnate bang in the middle, sort of hopefully he can reach anywhere he needs to be on the board. And Thanquol's there with his Soul Seeker, so he, again, massive manoeuvrability. So it's very much a cautious start. Let's see. I think I'll take the first turn. So we're going to go in aggressive off the bat and see what happens. So Skaven turn 1, hero phase. Thanquol started by casting Lauchon. Lauchon? Lauchon.
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 Lauchon, the Soul Seeker.
The Soul Seeker. And yeeted himself up the board straight in the faces of those angry dwarves 9 inches away. Second spell, he Mystic Shielded himself, ready for what's about to happen. And the Engineer attempted to cast more warp power, but failed on a roll of 3. So, and that is the hero phase. Skaven movement phase. So, Thanquol moved 3 inches away from those unit of Fyreslayers, the Berserkers. The 6 Storm Fiends shuffled up, so I'm within wind launcher range. The Incarnate ran up to sit on the centre objective, and the Warlock Engineer auto ran 6 to get the battle tactic kind of manoeuvre for the centre objective as well. The Clan Rats are, aware that there is a Magnum drop in a tunnel somewhere, are trying to fan out and block off on an objective. Not that it's going to help, because I still think they're just going to get absolutely headbutted off the board. And the end of movement phase, the Storm Vermin jumped into the Gnaw hole to pop up over in the far corner, looking at the far objective there. So that's the end of the Skaven's first movement phase. Skaven shooting phase, and Thanquol used his 2 Warpfire projectors into the Volkite Berserkers in front of him, killing 3. And the Storm Fiends, 2 wind launchers into the Hearthguard Berserkers, dealing 1 wound. That was the end of my shooting phase, and we are making the Flamekeeper a little bit angry. He's reddened, but he's not raging just yet, so we'll get him there. Charge phase, and we only had 2 to attempt, so Thanquol needed a 3 to charge the Volkite Berserkers and the Hearthguard Berserkers. To which Matt started laughing whilst he was looking at his rules, so I'm sure there's some sort of dwarvish grudge nonsense coming out there. And the Incarnate attempted to charge. I think I needed a 9 for that one and failed, so straight into combat. So the combat phase, and with Thanquol charging the Volkite and Hearthguard Berserkers, we inadvertently activated the Fierce Counterattack, which means the Hearthguard struck first, dealing 3 wounds to Thanquol. which with the Mystic Shield and the all-out defense, you know, we managed to survive those attacks. Then we put everything back into the Volkite Berserkers, killing 8 of them. And then Thanquol healed 2 wounds at the end. So Matt spent a command point to auto pass the Battle Shock there. And that's the end of, that'll be the end of Skaven turn 1. So points, we scored 1, 2 and more. And the battle tactic for 5 points. Slight misplay from me. I was just about a quarter of an inch off an objective with the Storm Fiend, so I don't hold that one at the minute. So that was a slight mistake, but yeah, 5 points to start off with, not too bad.
So that was a painful turn. Thanquol is being the git that he always is, but it's okay. He's close enough now that Gottrek's going to come and give him a friendly hug with an axe in a minute. So my battle tactic for this turn is an honourable death. So I am going to yeet the Doomseeker across the board in a moment and hopefully get into a fight with some clan rats and maybe even die in the process. Who knows? Then looking at prayers, we cast Prayer of Ash onto the Hearthguard Berserkers, so they're now a little bit harder to hurt. And the rune of Blazing Fury has gone off, but it's only its normal effect, so it's just the +1 to hit across the board. So we'll get moving now and see what happens. So the Fyreslayers movement phase was a pretty simple one. So the Grimwrath Berserkers yeeting across the board at speed. He's currently standing in front of the Incarnate, but he's also got his eyes on the Warlock Engineer that stood behind him. Gottrek's walked out in front of the pizza oven, ready for a scrap. He hasn't decided who with yet. We'll see what happens. And then the Tunnel Master Doomseeker has popped off across the board in front of the Clan Rats. And we've also had the Rune Smiter and the Rune Father on Magmadroth tunnel out the ground, eyeing up some Storm Friends. So we'll move on to the Firesteel Throwing Axe phase next. In the Firesteel Throwing Axe phase, we managed to cause 3 wounds to Thanquol. Everyone else was a bit inaccurate with their axes, but I think they were really happy just to see that many axes sticking out of that giant rat that, it was okay. So the charge phase was actually pretty awful. So both the Rune Smiter and the Rune Father failed the charge, and that's even with the +1 from his ability. Gottrek charged straight into the Incarnate. Seeing this, Tim, the Grimwrath Berserker, joined him, so the Incarnate's now got 2 angry ginger chaps in front of him. And then the Doomseeker is seeking his doom, and he's charged straight into those clan rats. So, start of the Fyreslayers combat phase, the Flamekeeper activated the Master Flame rune and used Grimnir's Vengeance on the Hearthguard Berserkers, who then unleashed everything they had into Thanquol, chopping him up into tiny little bits with a whopping 9 damage.
So my turn to pick next, and I decided to go with the Incarnate. After a little bit of thinking, I thought technically we could have taken out Gottrek. So I got a bit excited and put all my attacks into him. In the end, we only did 1 wound. I think I needed, had 5 dice, needed 3s, and I rolled 5 2s. So that failed miserably. So now into the Dwarfs hit back.
Next up, I activated Gottrek, who swing and hit and wounded with all of his attacks, but only 2 of them managed to go through, but that's still a nice healthy 6 damage, and we know he's going to be attacking again at the end of the phase, so I'm happy with that. On to the rats.
So the Clan Rats next, and they piled in 6 attacks, dealing 1 damage to the Doomseeker.
So the Grimwrath Berserker drank his draft of Magmalt Ale, which allowed him to have 8 attacks into the Incarnate. He really did give it quite a slap. The Doomseeker then attacked and killed 6 clan rats, cleared out that area quite well with that additional damage, and then Gottrek, just for a laugh, had another swing at the end of the combat phase, bringing the Incarnate onto its magical 18 wounds. So on to the Battle Shock phase.
So Battle Shock phase, 7 clan rats ran, but 2 came back with a reroll, so I managed to keep myself in coherency there. And with the Incarnate taking 18 wounds, automatically go back to level 1. So took quite a hit there. So Fyreslayer scoring, we hold 1, hold 2, not more, and didn't get the battle tactic. So 2 points. So with Skaven winning the priority role, I think I'm gonna take it and go first. Battle tactic for me will be an eye for an eye. We're going to avenge Thankwall and kill some more little ginger cows. Yeah, see what happens. Straight into it. Hero phase. With only one hero left, the engineer. We cast more onto the rattling gun, having consumed a token to get a reroll, which we didn't need, and we passed the does it poison me and blow up? So that was all good. So into movement phase, and we shuffled up the friends towards the magma Droff, who redeployed 1 inch. So I was still confident there. Still got the shooting phase to come as well. I moved the rattling gun around the corner with a nice line of sight into the Doomseeker, and the engineer moved around the rock as well, just so I'm ready to hopefully feed that rattling gun a nice little token for +1 damage in a minute. And then end of the movement phase, we popped the Storm Vermin again through the Gnaw hole onto the opposite side, next to the big chunk of Berserkers, just to be a nuisance. And I think that was it for Skaven movement, so into shooting. Shooting phase was a good one. The Storm Fiends went all out attack, dealing 7 wounds to the Magma Droff. And the Rattling Gun, having released his Gimbal Limiter, with more warp power and +1 damage, we had 16 attacks into the Doomseeker, dealing 10 wounds. So we took him out and we also killed ourselves, we exploded. But I feel like that's a fair swap. So into the charge phase. Quick charge phase. Storm Fiends charged into the Runefather and Rune Smiter. And then the Magma Droff unleashed Hell, dealing 3 wounds, which we put onto the Shock Gauntlet. And that was it. No one else attempted there, so we go into combat. So combat phase, we started off with the Storm Fiends into the Magma Droff and the
Rune Smiter.
The Rune Smiter, that was the one. We didn't do any wounds to the Rune Smiter, but we managed to take, was it 7 off of the Magma Droff?
Yeah, so he's sitting on 8 wounds at the moment.
And that was that one there. And then into your go, and you...
The Magma Droff hit back pretty hard. Well, the Magma Droff itself did. The guy on top fluffed all his attacks, but the Magma Droff did manage to go towards taking 2 of the Storm Fiends off the table. Mm-hmm. And then the Incarnate lashed back, didn't he? So
the Incarnate did a total of no wounds to Gottrak.
No wounds to Gottrak.
Again, everything into him, no wounds. And then you hit back. I think on the first round of attacks you did 12 wounds. And then with your second loads of attacks you did another 6.
So the Grimwrath Berserker didn't actually need to do much at all because he'd already hit that crisp 18 wounds.
So that's the Incarnate gone and 2 Storm Fiends gone. So we're losing models quickly. I think we're good on points so far, but we're losing models quickly. So we need to try and...
I think the objective disappearing in your back corner of those clan rats could come back to cost you later on. So we'll see.
We'll see. Scoring for me then at the end of that turn, and I held 1 and more for 2 points, and got my battle tactic of eye for an eye for 2 more. So 4 points scored there. So we'll go into the Fyreslayers turn 2.
So for my battle tactic this turn, I went for eye for an eye. I'm hoping I can do something now the Doomseeker's gone. Let's avenge the poor chap. When it came to my Urgold rune for this turn, I went for the Rune of Awakened Steel. That extra rend will be useful in getting those Storm Fiends off the table. Unfortunately, I didn't get the enhanced effect, but a bonus 1 rend on top of the Axe of Gruna should do the job. I then used the Rune Smiter to use Prayer of Ash, just to give that extra defensive buff on the dear old Magma Droff there, and then I used the Ember Storm on the Hearthguard Berserkers. And then finally I rallied the Volkite Berserkers and brought back another 3. So my movement phase, I turned the second unit of Volkite Berserkers around ready to face the oncoming Storm Vermin. The Hearthguard Berserkers ran up using the fact that they can run and charge a moment to sneak up behind the Storm Fiends. And Gotrek has got his eyes on the other pesky Skaven sorcerer on the battlefield, wanting to make a mess. So we'll now progress onto the Fyreslayer Throwing Axe phase. So the always entertaining Throwing Axe phase managed to drop 3 wounds in total now from the Storm Fiends and then 1 wound off a Storm Vermin. So charge phase, Gotrek has charged into the Warlock Engineer, the Volkite Berserkers have charged into the Storm Vermin, and then the Hearthguard have charged into the back of the Storm Fiends. So let's get making a mess. So the Runefather, continuing his excellent combat from last time, once again fluffed all the attacks with his massive Great Big Axe. Clearly it's too heavy, he needs to spend some more time in the gym. The Magmadroth, however, did manage to kill 2 more Storm Fiends, so I'm happy with that. So now it's on to seeing what Craig does next.
So my turn to hit back, and I've decided I could have gone for the Storm Vermin next, or the Storm Fiends, but I thought no, we're going to go with the Warlock Engineer. We ate a token for +1 to hit and wound. That was nice, and we went for his Warp Energy Blade, and we overloaded its generator for D6 attacks. So we rolled 1, so we got 1 attack, which we then rolled a 1 to hit, and we did 3 mortal wounds to myself. So great start to my combat phase. Hopefully Gotrek doesn't finish him off now, so we'll see.
So I activated the Hearthguard Berserkers next and went into the Storm Fiends, and combined they managed to bring down another one, so we've just got another one of the buggers left now.
The Storm Vermin then piled into the Volkite Berserkers, managed to kill 3 of them, who then retaliated, hitting back, and wiped the remaining 9 out. So that's my Storm Vermin gone.
I think it's you're on to your Storm Fiend next then.
Storm Fiend next. Is that the last thing to go?
Oh, and then Gotrek.
Gotrek. Gotrek. And the last Storm Fiend deals 0 damage to the Magmadroth.
So Gotrek swung next, and then the Warlock Engineer was gone. Who knows where?
That's all there is to say.
So Fyreslayers turn 2. Looking at scoring, I will hold 1, hold 2, hold more, and get my battle tactic. So yeah, a good turn. So important dice roll for this one. This is the priority roll to move into turn 3. Skaven roll. Oh dear. So I think Skaven are going to take it.
I think I'll take it, please. Thank you very much.
Hero phase. So looking at the battle tactics, I don't think, without any champions or many units left on the board, there aren't many now I can take. So and then we'll go into the straight into movement phase. But before we went into Skaven movement, the Fyreslayers rallied back 2 of the Volkite Berserkers. So in movement phase, all we did was we just pushed the clan rats up towards Gotrek. We're going to go in for a big heroic charge in a minute and kill him. That's the hope. Shooting phase, and the last Storm Fiend missed with all of his wind launchers into the Magmadroth.
Point blank.
Point blank. So we go into the charge phase, and the clan rats successfully charge Gotrek. The clan rats cause no wounds to Gotrek.
So next up was the Magmadroth hitting into the remaining Storm Fiend, and for the first time in the game, the Runefather remembered what he was supposed to do and cut that wee gribbly rat in half. I think it's time for Gotrek. So Gotrek activated and killed 10 clan rats in the first sort of swing, and then obviously reactivated at the end of the combat phase and caused another 10 wounds, and yeah, wiped the unit off the table, which does mean that there's not a single rat left alive. Good turn.
At the end of that turn for this Skaven, with nothing left on the board, we hold no objectives, and we didn't get the battle tactic, so we score 0 points.
So my battle tactic this turn is desecrate their lands, because it's a nice simple one to achieve. This is going to be a really quick sort of talk through my turn, because all I will do is walk forwards and hold that piece of terrain, and then end the turn. hold 1, hold 2, hold more, and a battle tactic. So yeah, nice quick turn. So post game, we sort of worked out how the last 2 turns would have worked, sort of scoring wise, because there were no Skaven left on the table. And the final scores were 22 points to the Fyreslayers and 9 points to the Skaven. So what are your thoughts on your list for this game then, Craig?
It's a good... I like the list. It's a fun list. It's very much a case of yeet and repeat, isn't it? It's with the...
It's Thanquol, he's just a monster.
Thanquol with the Soul Seeker. You can just chuck him right up there in your face from the start. And then the Incarnate. I didn't really use the Incarnate as well as I could. He didn't get his charge off. He didn't really pin down what
I think the fact that Gotrek was on the board and he is the perfect counter to the Incarnate.
I think so, yeah.
The Incarnate can't touch him and he will make a mess of the Incarnate every time.
And Storm Fiends. I was hoping to get rid of that Magma Droff and do a bit of damage there, but they didn't quite manage it before they got pinned down and chopped up by the angry Carls.
Yeah, I think it's interesting. I know I've got my reservations about my list because it is quite a small and compact list. I think there are some scenarios it's really going to struggle, but the large number of Galician champions I can take in this list is quite exciting, and it's always fun to use a different army. So I think I'm going to bring these guys out again soon.
I think that's one of my downfalls is I only have one Galician champion, and he's my general. So as soon as he goes, that makes it very difficult to score points. So I don't know whether I'd maybe look at working a few more in there. But what would I drop for that? That's the thing.
I think that's certainly something to think about in the future.
For sure.
But no, that's it for today, guys. So if you enjoyed this video and you like the content, please do like, subscribe, drop us a comment or a message. We're always keen to hear from you, and we will be back soon with more content, not just battle reports and not just Age of Sigmar.
Definitely. Exciting stuff.
Yeah. Cheers, guys.
Thank you.